Hi, and welcome to another episode with Math with Mullins. Today we're going to be talking about reading and interpreting circle graphs. Notes are going to go a little bit different today. I don't have any definitions for you to do, but what you will see is this green neon sign on different slides where I'm going to ask you to try things. What you're going to need to do is go ahead and number your paper 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4A, 4B, 4C, and then the number 5. So different total of 8 things you're doing here. Each one is representing a slide. So the 2's are on the same slide and so are the 4's. Let's go ahead and get started. This first one you're going to pause and try what conclusions can you make from this circle graph. Once you're done, you can go ahead and click play and move on. A conclusion could be an observation or using the data to come to or make a summary of what's happening on the circle graph. Again, make sure you pause, write down your conclusion, and then go on to the next slide. Here's your second question that you'll be doing. What questions do you think, or what question do you think was asked to construct this circle graph? And then 2B, make an observation about the circle graph. Again, you want to take time to pause the video and then come back to us, click play, so you can go on to the next part. Part 2 is actually going to be including some math work. I'm going to do this first question so you can kind of see how it's done, and then you'll have some time to try the next question on your own. This table shows the results of a survey in which people were asked whether their house pets watch television. Kind of silly if you ask me. There are 540 students at this middle school who own pets. Predict how many of them would say their pets would watch TV. Notice part 2 says interpreting circle graphs using the percent of a number. Remember, we've already learned this. Is over of is equal to P over 100, where is stands for the part, of stands for the whole, and P stands for percent because they're always out of 100. If you needed to jot that down in your notes, feel free to do so because you will have some questions like this on your homework. Now I'm going to set up all of my entire equation. Since there are 540 total students at the middle school, 540 will be the whole. I already know 100 is going to go here on the bottom. Now I just need to figure out what percent should I use because the question is asking me to predict how many of them would say their pets watch TV. I know that 38% say the pets will watch TV, so I'm actually going to use this percent because it's saying yes, watching TV. That 38% is going to go over the 100 because all percents are out of 100, which means I'm trying to solve for the part. Remember, the next step is to cross multiply to solve for x. I'm going to do 540 times 38. That is going to give me 520. And then 100 times x is just 100x. Next, to solve for x, I will have to divide by 100. This is pretty easy because when you're dividing by 100, all you're doing is taking your decimal, moving it 2 times to the left. So when I divide by 100, I get 205.20. Now, we all know we can't have 205.20 people, so what you would need to do is just round, I would say round up, just because you've got some leftover amount. So for this answer, we're going to say about, move this over here, 206 people. Just because that .20 is kind of a remainder, so we want to make sure that we include everybody. And since it's saying we're predicting, that means we're not maybe spot on, we're just trying to make an estimate here. The next one is number 3 in your notes, and you're actually going to give that one a try by yourself. So go ahead and take the time to pause the video right now and try this one with your partner. Once you're done, come back to us so you can check to see your work. All right, so here we go. In a survey of middle school students, 32% responded that playing video games was their favorite after-school activity. Predict how many of the 260 students surveyed said that playing video games was their favorite after-school activity. Again, you should be using the proportion is over of is equal to P over 100. I'm going to set this up as 32% is my percent. And since it says 260, so that's all the students, that's going to go of, which means I do not know what x is equal to. My next step here is cross multiplying. It might have taken you a few moments to figure out what 260 times 32 is. That answer should be 8,320. 100 times x is just 100x. Next step again, we've got to divide by 100 to figure out what x is. Again, here's your shortcut. Dividing by 100 is taking your decimal, moving it 2 times to the left. So now x is going to be equal to 83.20. Again, just like before, since we've got a leftover amount, we can't have 83.20 people, so we're just going to round up and say about 84. Here's another one where you're going to pause the video and try this one on your own. Notice how number 4 has A, B, and C. So you need to go ahead and make 3 observations. Observations could be like, what's the largest percentage? What's the smallest percentage? Or what type of question you think that was asked here. Go ahead and take time to pause the video, make your observation, and then click play to finish out the video. Here's one more example I'm going to show you, and then the next slide you're going to try. This one is where you're actually given the total amount of people at the zoo, but you have to look at the circle graph to figure out your percentage. It says if 200 people at the zoo were surveyed, according to the circle graph, how many picked lions as their favorite feline? Now, nowhere in this word problem does it tell us the percentage of lions, but what I do have to look at is according to the circle graph, which means I've got to look at the circle graph. Notice that we've got all of these felines here, but lions is the one we need to focus on because that is the question that's being asked. How many picked lions as their favorite feline? Again, I'll be able to use my proportion is over of P over 100 to set up and solve for my answer. I know that a total of 200 people were at the zoo, so that's going to be the of, and then I just saw that lions is 5%, so that's 5 over 100, which means x will go for the is because that's what we're solving. We're going to go ahead and solve for x, cross multiply 200 times 5, or you can do 2 times 5, which is 10, and then add the 2 zeros, so 1,000, and then 100 times x, which is 100x. Divide both sides by 100. Again, quick and easy step. 2 places inward to divide by 100. X is going to be equal to 10. So we would say about 10 people. The next slide you're going to be trying on your own, so get ready to write. Here is this example. You're going to try this one on your own. This is the last example you'll be taking notes on. If 500 people were surveyed, how many people chose tigers as their favorite feline? Again, take the time to pause the video, try the question, and then click play once you're done. Now that you've finished the question, I'm actually going to check this question, so just make sure you have the correct answer. Hopefully you used the 25% that was given to us on the circle graph. This concludes our video on circle graphs, so make sure that you have your notes ready, the numbers 1 through 5, and I'll be checking that to make sure that you're ready for your homework. Thanks for tuning in.